Hey everyone, and welcome to today's deep dive. We're tackling AI.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically how the cloud is
Right.
it's impacting it and fueling its growth.
Yeah, it's really exploding right now.
It really is exploding. It's like we found this secret ingredient
It is.
that's changing the whole game.
It's a good analogy. You see, AI always had potential, but it was like we were trying to build rockets in a tiny garage.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and the cloud with its computing power and the storage.
Yeah.
It's like we blew the roof off that garage.
Wow.
And now we have this launch pad.
Okay, so we went from a cramped little space
Exactly.
to having this massive
Totally.
NASA-style control room.
I like that. That's a good way to put it. And that's why we're seeing this surge in AI's capabilities.
Yeah.
It's not even just speed, you know? Think about ChatGPT.
Yeah.
That requires an insane amount of data
Right.
to train a language model like that,
But
which would be impossible without the cloud, without that distributed computing power.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think for a lot of us who aren't coding,
Right.
what does that actually mean? What's the impact?
So imagine needing a massive library,
Okay.
but instead of books, it's just holding gigabytes and gigabytes of data.
Right.
Trillions of gigabytes of data.
Okay.
And that data is what fuels
Oh.
AI's learning process.
So more data equals smarter AI.
Basically. The more data,
Okay.
the better it is at recognizing those patterns
Yep.
and making predictions, even mimicking human conversation,
Yeah, we're seeing that.
like with ChatGPT.
Which is really interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little unnerving when you
Yeah.
think about how much data is constantly being generated and fed into these systems. Does that raise any concerns?
Totally. I mean, it's great that it can store all this, process all this data, but it also brings up questions of data privacy, security, responsible AI development, all things to keep in mind.
For sure.
As we go down this road.
Yeah, definitely important to consider.
Absolutely.
But okay, so we talked about the cloud impacting AI in terms of speed and storage.
Right.
You mentioned earlier it's not just that.
Yeah.
What else makes this such a powerful partnership?
It's about democratization. You see, before the cloud developing and using AI, it was like trying to build a skyscraper on your own.
Okay.
You need all these resources. You need special knowledge. And it was just out of reach for most people.
Yeah.
The cloud is like leveling the playing field.
Okay.
So
it's more accessible now.
Exactly. It's way more accessible. So think of it like this.
Okay.
The cloud provides that infrastructure and the tools.
Yeah.
All you have to do is focus on building and using it.
So it's like going from needing a professional recording studio
Exactly.
being able to take music on your laptop.
Exactly. You got it.
Yeah.
And there are so many platforms that are designed for anybody to use.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, even if you're not.
So it's not just these big corporations using AI anymore.
It's everybody. You could go use these tools.
Wow. Okay, so give me some examples.
Okay, so there's this thing called AWS SageMaker.
Okay.
And it's basically like this virtual workshop
where
you can build these machine learning models.
Interesting.
Without even coding.
Really?
Yeah. It's like drag and drop.
So I don't have to be a coding whiz.
No. You can make some amazing stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, and what can I do with that?
You can train models to analyze customer data.
Okay.
You could predict equipment failures.
Interesting.
You could personalize recommendations on your website.
Wow.
Yeah. And you don't need a data science degree or anything.
That's incredible. That's so cool.
I know. It's pretty amazing. They give you everything you need.
Okay, so they have pre-built algorithms?
Yeah. They have algorithms, templates, tutorials.
Wow. Okay, so it's pretty user-friendly.
Super user-friendly.
That's awesome. And I bet businesses are
oh, yeah.
all over this.
For sure.
What other platforms are out there?
So another big one is Azure Cognitive Services.
Okay.
So they offer pre-built AI models.
Okay.
And you can use those for things like translation, image recognition, sentiment analysis.
Interesting.
And all you need
That's so cool.
is a few lines of code to use them.
Really? So I could have my blog posts translated without having to hire somebody.
Yeah, you could do that.
That's amazing.
And they're constantly being updated. So the possibilities are pretty much endless.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's really interesting.
It's really blowing up right now.
It's crazy how accessible it's becoming.
Yeah.
But I have to imagine with all this power,
Sure.
there's some downsides as well.
Yeah, it's kind of like we've been handed this like incredible toolbox,
Yeah.
But we need to make sure
Exactly.
we're using the tools responsibly.
Like one of the biggest challenges is making sure that the decisions are fair and unbiased, because these systems learn from the data we feed them. And so if that data reflects some bias, then the AI is going to perpetuate that.
Yeah, so if an AI is trained on data that's primarily like one demographic,
it might make the wrong assumptions about people outside of that.
Totally. It's like teaching a kid to ride a bike, but only showing them other kids who look and ride exactly like them. They're going to struggle when they see someone else.
That's a good point.
Who's different,
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I mean, in the context of AI, that could have huge implications.
Absolutely. Things like loans, job opportunities, even healthcare.
It's kind of scary.
It is. It's a little scary. We have to be mindful of the data that we're using.
We don't want to create a world where AI is just reinforcing existing inequalities.
We want to do the opposite, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So responsible AI development means we got to be proactive.
Okay.
We have to audit the algorithms and be transparent about how these things work.
So it's not just about building cool AI tools. It's about building them ethically.
Exactly.
But I think that's on all of us.
It's on everybody. We can educate ourselves. Learn about it.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
I like that.
Figure out how to use it for good.
Very important.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like
we're at a really interesting time.
We are at a pivotal moment.
We have all this potential to change things.
We really do.
But we just got to be careful about it.
Yeah. Well said. Well said.
Yeah.
So for our listeners out there, if they're inspired and they want to learn more about this,
I would say go check out.
Where should they go?
Those cloud platforms. We talked about AWS, Azure, Google Cloud. They've got tons of information there.
Awesome. Good place to start.
Yeah. Just be curious.
And be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, that is the end of our deep dive into AI in the cloud.
It was fun.
It was really interesting. I learned a lot.
Me too.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And to everyone listening, we'll see you next time.